something I think about a lot is early on in my career, I was on the receiving end of a lot of mentorship. And as my career has progressed a little, I'm a little less on the receiving end and more on the giving end of that mentorship. And mentorship certainly goes both ways. Is there a piece of advice that you received early on in your career that's really helped you long term, and maybe something that you're teaching more of the seasoned professionals these days in terms of mentorship?
For me, mentorship has also played a really important part of my professional and personal development. I've gotten a lot from, I mean, thank goodness CDM Smith has such a strong mentorship culture where I work. I'm constantly mentored and taught by all of these, really great seasoned professionals who take the time to teach. Engineering is really hard. Like, well, our work is really hard. And I thought when I left school, like, I'm ready to like do all these things, but so much of it had to be taught to me just from years of experience that our experts had to, accumulate themselves and pass down on me. So I'm forever grateful for having them teach me all I need to know about water quality, at least like part of it for now, and all they're gonna teach me moving forward. But I also wanna highlight the fact that I also learned so much from my own mentees, Alfredo being one of them, especially when it comes to technology side of things. I know like I look young, but I'm like well into my 30s, and I'm already noticing that generational gap in terms of like my knowledge and awareness and ability to use like the newest technologies, like between me and like folks in their 20s. Like I have another mentee, Maddie Ledoux, in my office, who's constantly telling me that, gee, why are you doing it that way on Bluebeam? Like, this is way, it's way better. This is how you're supposed to do it. Like, my mentees and folks that work on my projects who are younger than me are constantly teaching me about how to efficiently use technologies and whatnot. And folks like Alfredo, who just have so much like experiences in professional world and life world that are different than mine, he's constantly teaching me about like his experiences, and also like how things are done in his area in like the Southwest that I'm not necessarily familiar with. So like I feel like there's a lot, they call it reverse mentoring, which like it's okay term, but I do feel like I'm getting mentored by some of those folks with less professional experience than me, like all the time.
Yes, for me, mentorship has been essential in my career as well. And I was just talking about it last week on how mentorship has been crucial for my development and my growth. And the way I see it is very similar to what Jay describes. I think it's a cycle, because I'm right now, as well, as soon as I enter the professional field, I started benefiting right away from experienced professionals who gave some of their time and their resources to teach me. And then after a couple of years, I started acquiring my own knowledge, and I started to develop these experiences that I was ready to share. So it came, I reached this point where other people would approach me asking questions, seeking mentorship, and I became a mentor eventually. So it's not until there when I realized that all the things that I obtained from someone else, it was my time to give it back and to pass it on. So when I really think about it from a big picture, my mentors like G, they benefited from someone else, and then the same thing happened to them. So it's really on us to not only benefit from it, but to pass it on, and to continue this cycle where you are contributing not only to your direct mentees, but also to future generations, and the same way as you are benefiting from other people. So I really think it requires time and commitment, and a framework, like a structure, because mentorship happens on the spot, on an everyday basis. But really, when you put in the effort and when you commit to help others the way you've been helped, that's when you contribute to the cycle of mentorship, if you will.
I got my mentor through the WEF mentorship program. So I was assigned a mentor who just so happened to be somebody that I did know through a local organization. We meet monthly. And something that she's helped me with a lot is overcome imposter syndrome, which I think is something that is not talked enough, especially among young professionals, is the thought of feeling like, we're not probably the right, like I'm always thinking there's somebody else that can do this better than me, or I'm not ready for that, or something along those lines. And she's kind of encouraged me to jump in and not be afraid to ask questions. And I do struggle with that because I internally I'm always like, well, I should utilize all my resources before I ask a question, because everyone's super busy and time constraints and whatnot. So that was something that she really helped me to kind of work, and it's something I'm continuing to work on, but that was something big that she helped me to overcome. But if I were to give advice to somebody seeking a mentor, you can utilize resources like the WEF mentorship program, or you can seek them out in your own community. I mean, within my local IMA, I know there are a ton of more seasoned professionals who, if I were to ask them a question, they would drop everything and help me out. So I also would encourage people to find different mentors for different aspects of your career too. You don't need just one, more merrier in a way. You don't just need one mentor. You can have a few for kind of help you out with different facets in your career.
That's a really, really good point that you raised, because I also have lots of mentors, not only in my AWA section locally, but also at the association through AWA. And I could see how that being like so beneficial if your organization is a lot smaller, and you just want outside perspective. I know I've benefited a ton from having those mentors outside of my organization as well. So thanks for bringing that up. Great idea.
Yeah, actually, I've heard all three of you speak at different times about imposter syndrome and overcoming that. And certainly as an elder millennial, that is a conversation that we have also had as well. So I think cross generations have had this same conversation about imposter syndrome and mentorship and how we continue to grow and develop in our careers.